With 87 days to go before the general election, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is pounding the campaign trail. Mr. Trump has been very busy talking to voters in several key swing states. And earlier today, he held a couple of big rallies in Pennsylvania. Here's a look at some of the highlights.
I spent less and won in a landslide. Other people spent much, much more, 3, 4, 5 times more, and they came in 7th. Who the hell do you want to have as your president, right? You signed a pledge. I hereby guarantee that I will endorse whoever wins. You know, the funny thing, all those pledges, you know, they were signed they were signed so that I would sign it. And I would have honored it, I will say. You know, the Republicans do have a tougher path, just so you know. Not my fault. Not my fault. It's a tougher path. For the presidency, it's just a tougher, winding road. But if we win Pennsylvania, we win Florida, where we're doing really well, I think we can win Ohio. It'll be over. Has anybody lied as much as Hillary Clinton? Has anybody? You look at the FBI director, and you see what went on with the emails. You see how she got away with that. I think that will go down in her career as her single greatest achievement, how she got out of that mess.
Well, this week I got to spend some time campaigning with Donald Trump, and I had a chance to sit down with the Republican nominee to ask him how he plans to win the White House and a whole lot more. Let's take a look. In the interest of full disclosure, I think I got to tell people that I've been out campaigning with you for the past couple of days, so it's not like I'm objective. I'm not pretending or even playing the role of a journalist.
Well, that's good. I like that.
Your stamina is pretty amazing. You're doing events starting early in the morning. Wednesday night, we didn't finish dinner until well after midnight. And I watched you through this process. Where do you get that stamina to do this?
Well, I sometimes say when people ask me, do I have a choice, right? I mean, it's like it's set up and we have to do it. And it's so important. We have 90 days left, and I want to maximize the time. And it's so important for the country, whether it's Supreme Court justices or evangelicals, because, you know, we were at the big evangelical meeting with the pastors a little while ago. So many things happening on that front, and so many things happening on so many fronts. And I just feel that I have no choice. I have to really go full blast and get this thing done, because we will make America great again. We'll make America greater than ever before. And if Hillary Clinton gets in, it's a disaster. It's going to be 4 more years of Obama. It's going to be horrible, super left judges that on the Supreme Court. They're going to destroy the country. And so we have to get it done.
Look, the reason I bring up this whole issue of stamina is because the President of the United States is a very demanding job.
Right.
It's a demanding job physically, emotionally, spiritually, politically. I see people that work for you, they're half your age, and at the end of the day, I mean, they're dragging. You're still going strong. I mean, what I'm trying to point out is that this is a job that requires somebody who is physically capable of having that kind of pressure. Now, I've seen this.
Right.
How important do you think it is for the American people to understand just the physical capacity of their president?
Well, you have to have that. You have to have great strength. You're dealing with so many different problems and lots of other things, but in particular problems. And, you know, you have countries like China that have been taking advantage of us for years. You have to deal with that situation. We can't continue to have trade deficits of $500 billion a year. You have ISIS, where they're getting bigger and bigger, even though Obama is trying to convince people that they're not. Now they're in, I understand, 28 countries. It went from 8 to 28 in a short period of time. You have so many different difficulties that if you don't have the stamina, if you don't have the whatever that is that you have to have, the country's in trouble. Not you, the country's in trouble. And I've always said that Hillary doesn't have the stamina. I've said that for a long time. But you just need a great deal of strength to, you know, for us to come out a winner. Look at what happens. We lose on everything. We lose on trade. We can't beat ISIS militarily. Our vets aren't taken care of. Our borders are weak. Obamacare is a disaster. It's got to be repealed and replaced with something much better and much less expensive for the people. We have a lot of things to take care of. No, you need big stamina.
You have 2 opponents. You got Hillary Clinton, but you've also got the media.
Right. That's the bigger opponent.
I mean, they're never the friend of a politician. But in my many years of doing politics, I've never seen anything like the kind of targeted attacks that have come upon you, misconstruing virtually everything you said. A good example this week, you made the comment that Barack Obama is the founder of ISIS. Now, you didn't mean physically that he's the founder of ISIS. You meant very clearly that his policies.
Everybody knew exactly what I meant. Well, actually, that's been covered, I think, pretty well. I think, really, when he... Look, we should have never been in Iraq. I was against going into Iraq. It was a big mistake. But when he took it over, the way he got out was horrible, horrible. And it really led to the formation, the real formation of ISIS as we know it. And you look at the way that happened, and you look at the weakness, and then you see the way it grows. And they tried to hide how they've grown. And it's weakness. It's just weakness. We have to knock them out. We have no choice. We have to knock them out. We have to knock them out strongly. But we have a depleted military. He's allowed our military to become totally depleted. I think he's just been a terrible president. He's made so many mistakes, and she'll be worse than him. She will be worse than Barack Obama.
Earlier in the week in Detroit at the Economic Club, you presented an economic plan that included significant tax cuts for everybody, but especially for businesses, right. Small businesses, down to 15%.
Right, and middle-income people, especially for them, too. But you're right, for businesses, absolutely.
Why is that important?
Because they're going to spur jobs like you haven't seen. We have no growth. Our country right now, Mike, and you and I were discussing the numbers before, 1.2%. That's basically no growth. If China ever had 1.2%, there'd be a revolution. They get down to 7 or 8% growth, and it's like a big deal. They start devaluing and do all sorts of things to take more jobs out of the United States so that they can go longer. No, we have 1.2% growth. Essentially, that's no growth. We could be heading even lower than that. That means we're a stagnant country. We have millions and millions of people out of the workforce. They can't get jobs. And yet, statistically, it looks like 5%, but it's not 5%. It's probably 21%. It's a massive number. People give up looking for jobs. And the jobs that they have are bad jobs. And everybody admits that. Even the other side admits that. They're bad jobs. They're not good jobs. The good jobs have left to a large extent. So we have a lot of things to do, and we're going to do them, and we're going to straighten things out. But we have to get a whole different mindset. And Hillary Clinton literally will be 4 more years of Obama. That means high taxes. She wants to, did you see yesterday where she wants to double up taxes? She's gonna, and double taxes won't take care of what she's doing. I mean, people's taxes are going to be doubled, if not more than that. So we have to win this election. We have to put the right judges on the Supreme Court, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many things to do.
When you spoke of that in Detroit and talked about the economic plans, I mean, you were doing that in a city that once was the world's center of manufacturing, called the arsenal to democracy. I mean, Michigan basically saved America by being able to build our armaments during World War II. Right. How do we get manufacturing back to a level where we're making things in America like Michigan once did?
Well, it was a great place, Detroit, many years ago, and now our great car companies are building cars in Germany and other places. And you look at even the unions, the number of people that they have today compared to 10 years ago and 20 years ago. You take a look, hundreds of thousands of people less. And Mexico is the 8th wonder of the world. A friend of mine who builds plants, he builds big plants. He goes and tells me Mexico, what they're doing in Mexico is amazing. They're taking our businesses. And our politicians have no idea how to handle it, and it's so simple. It's so simple. But one of the reasons they don't have any idea, probably number one, they don't have an idea, but number two, they're controlled by special interests and lobbyists and donors, and they don't want to handle it. So a place like Michigan is losing its jobs. Hillary will do nothing about it. There was a story in the Washington Post 2 days ago, which was shocking because the Washington Post never writes badly about Hillary. But there was a story in the Washington Post which tells you how badly she did as a senator from New York, that she promised upstate New York that she would bring jobs back and she would do all sorts of things. And upstate New York is a catastrophe right now, probably as bad as just about any place. It's a catastrophe. And the jobs have left. 50, 60% of the manufacturing is gone. and she promised to take care of that situation and made it worse, except her friends did very well. Consultants and various other people, they made a fortune. So, no, she won't do the job. She's all talk, she's no action. I know her well. Not going to happen.